Ladies and gentlemen, another day, another violent farm invasion in Zimbabwe. It seems ZANU-PF's favorite pastime, besides looting, rigging elections and lying through their teeth, is sending hired thugs to terrorize people under the cover of darkness. This time, the victim is none other than Blessed Geza, whose farm turned into an action movie set when about 30 machete-wielding goons stormed in, slashed through the perimeter fence, broke down doors, and shattered every window they could find. Clearly, someone in ZANU-PF has been watching too many low-budget gangster films and decided to recreate one in real life. Geza, never one to sugarcoat reality, has wasted no time pointing fingers on Twitter. He believes the mastermind of his operation reads like a who is who of ZANU-PF's legal and political circus. Legal Affairs Minister Ziyambi, MP Polite Kambamura, and Councillor Freedom Matawa. And really, who else could it be? In Zimbabwe, farm invasions don't just happen by accident, and certainly not on this scale. This isn't some random burglary and hungry villagers looking for a meal. No, this is a carefully coordinated mission straight out of ZANU-PF's intimidation playbook, a book that's been in circulation since the days when Robert Mugabe was still pretending to be a liberator. Of course, we have seen this script before. This is the same ZANU-PF strategy that brought us the farm invasions of the early 2000s, when war veterans, some who were barely old enough to have lived through the war, were let loose to terrorize white commercial farmers. The result? Zimbabwe's agricultural sector collapsed, food shortages became the norm, and we graduated from being the breadbasket of Africa to the begging bowl of the continent. Well done, comrades. If only there was an international award for turning a prosperous country into a desperate wasteland, Zimbabwe would have taken gold, silver, and bronze. But here's the thing. Geza is no commercial farmer, and he certainly isn't white. So what's the excuse this time? There isn't one. This is just a good old-fashioned political gangsterism, the kind that ZANU-PF has perfected over the years. Is the same pattern we saw when Job Sikala was repeatedly arrested and treated like a personal punching bag by the state. The same intimidation tactics used against opposition leaders, activists, and anyone daring to think outside the ZANU-PF approved script. It's almost as if the ruling party wakes up every morning and says, "Who shall we terrorize today?" before flipping a coin and sending out the foot soldiers. A few days ago, we reported that the president was instigating violence. In this clip that we played you, let's replay it again.
We will not stop our development plans and programs because of the noise from some little boys. They will continue making that noise, but we shall continue to move on. But I warn anybody who may want to be nonsensical and bring chaos in this country, we are ready for any chaos, to deal with any chaos. Whoever who preach hate speech shall be responsible for their hate speech. Our prisons are not full. We want peace. We want unity. Those who do not disagree with that, do so quietly and peacefully. Then, tichafamba tose murugare nokuirana. Asukata mhesva mkono tinokuveza.
True to the president's words, these goons had gone to shashanga whoever was at the farm. They had gone to Veza anyone who was at the farm. But if the goal was to scare Geza into silence, they clearly underestimated their target. His response was mockery, defiance, and a reminder that he won't be intimidated by kindergartens. Now, that's a classic. What better way to insult the intellectual depth of his attacker than by comparing them to preschoolers throwing a tantrum? Because let's face it, these so-called warriors are nothing more than grown men playing dress-up, thinking they are revolutionaries, when in reality they are just glorified errand boys for the corrupt elite. And let's not ignore the irony here. ZANU-PF loves to accuse the opposition of being puppets of the West, but they themselves act like puppets of chaos and destruction. The only real puppeteer here is the party leadership pulling the strings of these hired goons to do their dirty work while pretending to be liberators. But who exactly are they liberating Zimbabwe from? Certainly not poverty. Certainly not unemployment or corruption. Those are thriving under their watch. At this point, it's almost laughable how predictable these attacks have become. If you criticize ZANU-PF, you can expect either a midnight raid, an unexplained accident, or a trumped up criminal charge. And they say history doesn't repeat itself. Zimbabwe proves otherwise. It's the same old dictatorship tactics wrapped in new packaging. Except now, social media exists and their dirty tricks are being broadcast to the world in real time. So what's next? Another denial from the government officials claiming that they had nothing to do with it? Maybe they will say it was just common criminals who randomly decided to attack Geza'sFarm in perfect coordination using tracks and tactics that seem suspiciously well organized. Or maybe they will accuse him of provoking the attack because in ZANU-PF's world, being critical of the government is more of a crime than actual violence and property destruction. Either way, Geza isn't backing down. He's made it clear that he's ready for action. And if history is anything to go by, the only people who should be watching their backs are those responsible for this cowardly attack. Because as much as ZANU-PF loves to pretend it's invincible, no dictatorship lasts forever. Eventually, even the most corrupt regimes crumble under the weight of their own arrogance. So to all Zimbabweans tired of being bullied by a party that behaves more like a criminal cartel than a government, now is the time to stand up and be counted. And while you are at it, hit that subscribe button, because the only way to defeat propaganda is with the truth. And Zimwaves TV will keep serving it hot and fresh.
Nyika yedu yaparadzwa nemakoro ZANU. Nyika yedu iri kutongwa nenhubu dzeZANU. Vana kushikorora ngova damberega rega mafekitari yakafara kare kare. Imi mwari baba ndimi makati munozivavo konamo yeZimbabwe ichapera rini mambo tamirira taneta tichafara rini mambo tatarisa nguva dzese uchauya rini mugove patinoti titaure tinodzwazve kuhondo kuti tikosore tinoswera tave musheri. ZANU haina tsitsi nevana veZimbabwe, vatana nevarwere vakatokanganikwa kare. Oh, imi mwari baba ndimi makati munozivavo konamo yeZimbabwe ichapera rini mambo tamirira taneta tichafara rini mambo tatarisa nguva dzese uchauya rini mugove. Pakavava Mugabe vakatobviswa negidi, pakauya Ngwena Garwe akatopinda zveginya naiyewo anoda kufira pachigaro. Imi mwari baba ndimi makati munozivako konyamo yeZimbabwe ichaperari ni mambo tamirira taneta tichafarari ni mambo tatari sangu wazese uchauyari ni mugove miguu ya ora yaparajwa ne mazanu nyika yedu inopisa kudarika gena makoronyera ezanu yationesa chimoto mwariburuka imuite kuda kwenyu imi mwari baba ndimi makati munozi bako konyamo ye Zimbabwe ichaperari ni mambo tamirira taneta tichafarari ni mambo tatari sangu watese uchauyari ni mugove imi mwari baba ndimi makati munozi bako konyamo ye Zimbabwe ichaperari ni mambo tamirira taneta tichafarari ni mambo tatari sangu watese uchauyari ni mugove